Weekly News Report. Happy belated Groundhog Day, everyone, or is it? The people of Wyerton, Ontario were in an uproar last week after learning that their beloved, season-foretelling groundhog, Wyerton Willie, had made a false prediction about spring being just around the corner. He was brought into the police station for questioning early yesterday and detained overnight. When the police came to his cell the next morning for further questioning, they found that he had dug a hole out of his cell and escaped. The only thing left behind was a note that said, "How do you like that, Shadow?" We have gotten confirmation that he has fled the country and is considered armed and dangerous. He is now one of Canada's top wanted fugitives. If you have any information on his whereabouts, please contact 1-800-GET-WILLIE. That's 1-800-GETWILLY. Our top story tonight, the review board at Hamilton General Hospital has been in deliberation for the past 2 days, with a very unique case and a very tough decision to make. 3 different patients have all come into the hospital within the last week with a severe liver disorder, and all in desperate need of a liver transplant. Sources say that there is, in fact, a liver viable for transplantation with an AB-positive blood type. So which candidate is viable for this liver? Well, interestingly enough, all 3 patients are AB positive. So who deserves the liver? Patient 1, Johnny Lawson. He's a little boy who was born right here in Hamilton, Ontario. After celebrating his 4th birthday, Johnny was diagnosed with congenital liver disorder. This condition causes his liver to turn hard, which means that it becomes very difficult for blood to move through it. Usually, this can be fixed with a simple shunt because the liver cells are still functioning. However, in little Johnny's case, he has been through already many surgeries and operations, all to no avail. His only remaining option is a liver transplant. Without one, he has 6 months to live. So we now go live to Hamilton General Hospital, where Mrs. Lawson, little Johnny's mother, has agreed to talk to us. Over to you, Patty.
Okay, thanks, Diane. I'm here with Mrs. Lawson. Good morning, Mrs. Lawson.
Good morning, Patty.
So when did you find out about little Johnny's liver problem?
Well, he was diagnosed when he was 4, and they have tried everything but a transplant. This could be the last resort.
That's terrible. I thought that congenital liver fibrosis was quite rare, and usually they're able to get it under control.
Yes, it is very rare, and people with this condition usually respond well to treatment. Johnny has had many complications, including internal abdominal bleeding. I don't know how much longer he can last without a new liver. When they told us there's one available, we were so excited, but now it seems like it's all up to some board somewhere to decide which of the 3 possible candidates gets to live, possibly.
It does seem unfair, but it is an ethics board, and they will take everything into account.
Do they not take into account that the old guy may die anyways, liver or not? And what about that movie star? He needs it because of his social problems with drinking and such. My son did nothing to deserve this. I don't think it's fair that a board determines his fate.
Well, it's not my decision either. My job is to cover the story. Back to you, Diane.
Patient 2, Herman Jones, is a 72-year-old war veteran who served in the Army for 25 years. Mr. Jones was taken to the hospital by his son, Alex Jones, when he began showing symptoms of liver disease. While at the hospital, Mr. Jones fell into a coma due to the severe liver failure. Without a new liver, he'll die within 1 month. We now go back to Hamilton General Hospital, where we have an exclusive interview with his son, Alex Jones. Pat, are you there?
So, are you interviewing?
Yeah. Yes, I'm here with Alex Jones. Hi, Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, thanks.
How do you feel about the situation that you're in?
I'm not too sure. I would not want to be the one making Okay, we start. Do you want to start from the top?
Yeah, start over.
Go for it.
Yes, I'm here with Alex Jones. Hi, Alex. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, thanks.
How do you feel about this situation that you're in?
I'm not too sure. I would not want to be the one making the decision about who gets the liver.
Do you think that your father should get the liver?
Of course I would want my father to get the liver, but there's a chance that it may not bring him back out of his coma. I would not want the liver to go to waste.
Did your father show any symptoms of cirrhosis?
No, not until he was jaundiced did we really get worried something was wrong with him. And that's when we took him into the hospital, and then he went into a coma.
Did you consider giving part of your liver to your father?
Yes, I did, but our blood types do not match, so I was unable to.
Thanks for letting us talk to you, Alex. I hope your father gets well soon.
Thanks.
Back to you, Diane.
Patient number 3. In entertainment news, actor Charlie Sheen's condition has taken a turn for the worse. The 45-year-old star, best known for his work in the sitcoms Spin City and 2.5 Men, was admitted to Hamilton General Hospital early Sunday morning. Sheen has a history of drug abuse and alcohol abuse, including an incident in 1998 where he overdosed on cocaine. In 2010, he was arrested for causing damage to a hotel room and having possession of cocaine. He entered rehab twice, once in 2010 and again in January of 2011. An ambulance was called at 4 a.m. when an adult entertainer found Sheen unconscious in his hotel room in Hamilton, where he was shooting footage for 2.5 Men. Sheen's manager commented, and I quote, "Mr. Sheen was admitted to the hospital early Sunday morning. He was not taking recreational drugs at the time that he was taken to the hospital. Mr. Sheen appreciates the care that the doctors and staff at Hamilton General Hospital provided and intends on donating money to the wing." A report leaked from an insider at the hospital stating that Charlie Sheen, whose birth name is actually Carlos Estevez, was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, a condition where healthy tissue is replaced by scarring, often caused by long-term alcohol abuse. He may only have 3 months to live without a liver transplant from an organ donor. We sent a reporter to Hamilton General Hospital, where hundreds of fans have been gathering outside the hospital. Let's go there now. Hello, Patty. How's the atmosphere over there right now?
I have to tell you, it's pretty intense over here. I have with me one of Charlie's fans. Hi, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Rose, and I'm Charlie's biggest fan. I've been a fan ever since he was in Platoon.
How did you react to the news that he was in the hospital and that he will need an organ transplant?
I was so shocked and worried. Charlie has millions of fans that support him. He's the highest paid actor on television. He makes $1.8 million for each episode of 2.5 Men, you know. I just want him to get well. I'll give my liver to him.
Well, we certainly hope Sheen recovers. Back to the newsroom.
We have word that our review board is meeting now. Due to the private nature of the meeting, we are not allowed to bring our cameras into the boardroom. However, we have secured a live audio stream from the boardroom so we can listen in on the discussion. And I am confirming we are going there now, live.
Case 1, Johnny Lawson. 6-year-old boy. Came into the hospital with signs of cholangitis and hepatomegaly. Diagnosis was confirmed to be congenital liver fibrosis. He has gone through several treatments, but none have worked thus far. Next option is a full liver transplant. The prognosis, he has about 6 months to live without a new liver. And just on a personal note, I've been with Johnny through many of his treatments. He is a vibrant, funny, 6-year-old little boy. He has his whole life ahead of him and really deserves this liver.
Herman Jones, 62-year-old male, taken to the hospital when he was showing signs of liver disease. He has fallen into a coma while at the hospital due to severe liver failure and needs an immediate liver transplant. Prognosis: he will die within a month without a new liver. Personal note: Mr. John has been an ideal patient, and his family has been extremely cooperative throughout the entire process. He's used 25 years of his life to serve our country, and I feel like this is a small way that we can show our gratitude. I would also like to point out that he has the shortest amount of time between all 3 candidates to live without a liver.
And our third case, a 45-year-old male, Charlie Sheen. Sheen has a history of drug and alcohol abuse and has been hospitalized before in 1998 and 2010. His diagnosis confirms cirrhosis of the liver and acute renal failure. His only option is a full liver transplant. The prognosis: without the surgery, Mr. Sheen has 3 months or less to live. And on a personal note, if Mr. Sheen receives the liver, he has agreed to give this hospital an extremely generous donation, which could pay for a whole new wing at this hospital. That means we could help so many more people. Also, imagine the bad publicity this hospital will receive if he does not receive the liver.
So we have 3 situations here. On one hand, we have a child who has just had the misfortune of being born with this congenital disorder. You said he's a vibrant and funny child who still has his whole life to live. However, he can live for only 6 more months without a liver transplant, which means we could find another liver by then, but we may not be able to as well. On the other hand, we have Mr. Jones, who fought for our country and for our rights. He has lived a long life, but perhaps he deserves to live longer since he spent so many years selflessly fighting for others instead of himself. Although he has the least amount of time to live, as you did point out, he is in fact in a coma, which he may never come out of. Is it about time that we do something in return for him? Lastly, we have Mr. Sheen, who has brought this transplant on himself through his years of alcohol and drug abuse. However, with such a generous donation, we could really expand this hospital and give better treatment to so many more people. The publicity alone from him being here could also attract new investors for us, but does someone who maliciously destroyed his own liver deserve it over the other candidates, even if his donation could save thousands of more lives?